I think education is the most important thing to those that are willing to listen and, let them choose, because it's free will. At the end of the day, you can suffer all we want about the humanity, but if humanity doesn't want to wake up, what can you do?
Well, and humanity is made of humans, and some humans will make it and some won't. And humanity, you have the humanity of yesterday, you have the humanity of today, and you're going to get the humanity of tomorrow. And
yeah.
like, which humanity are we talking about?
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another one of our episodes, WisdomCon. That's September 24th to the 26th. I am very honored and very happy to have Roman Light with us tonight, and he will be discussing a little bit about his incredible work and also what he's going to be discussing at the conference. So a little bit about him before we jump in. Roman is originally from France. Roman, who now lives in Sydney, Australia, is determined to make a difference in the world by re-educating people about truths he believes has been suppressed. He speaks about frequency, harmony, resonance, and its impact on humanity as a collective. His mission is to bring back the simplicity of the ancient wisdom into our modern civilization. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Roman Light. Roman, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Beautiful. So I just want to jump in because I love your work so much. And I want you to tell me about, just before we started, we were talking a little about the current events, and you bring up such a good point about how we need to understand what we are. What is this reality? What is it made up of? So can you tell us a little bit about that? Why is it important to understand what we are at the fundamental level so we can begin to move forward?
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you first. Thank you for having me, and thank you for inviting me to this beautiful conference. It's amazing that there's more and more initiative like that, and that there's more and more people interested about those questions. Well, it all started when I was very young, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, and I was already starting to question the nature of my world, like many kids are doing. Very inquisitive, and most of the questions that kids have are not really well received by adults. And like most of the adults, most of the kids back in the day, I was asking questions about life and death, and in a very simple way, like, what is life, what is death, and never really been satisfied with the answers. And I was very stubborn, and I'm still very stubborn. And in a way, I was like, how can we live in a dimension, reality, without being, consensually agreeing on what is the nature of this reality? And it's only later that I realized that no one had a clue. and everyone has theories, religion have theories, science have theories, and they all like bring the theories with such a strong will that, and they ask you to pick a camp. Like, do you believe in God? Do you believe in the vacuum, in the Big Bang, and whatever? But before even talking about, like, none of the answers really satisfied me. Like, if God created the universe, then who created God? Very simple question. If the Big Bang created the universe, what created the Big Bang? You can go on and on and on. And at the end of the day, it's if you don't find your answers, if you believe someone else's answer, if you believe someone else's story, because this is what they give you, like religion gives you stories, science gives you stories. If you believe people's stories, how can you start your life? Where's your life start? I mean, we have been programmed to introduce ourselves based on our physical appearance. Like, my name is Roman Light. I am born in May 1979. Okay, whatever. But this is my birthday of my body. First of all, did my body started on that date? Or did my body started when my parents made me? Or did my body started when their parents made them? So when my life starts and when do my life ends? if my life ends one day. That all those questions are easily answered today, but are they really relevant? Are they really the relevant one? Like we're talking like about a timeline and saying, well, we don't know when humanity started or when reality started, but we know that my perspective started in this lifetime at that moment and finished at that moment, and that give me a sensation of protection, or like as if I understand something, which is weird, because even if you agree on that point, even if you agree on, yeah, that body was born on that day, whatever, it still doesn't define the way your awareness, your consciousness is going to rely on this experience. Because my body is a tool that allows me to interact. Me, the source of who I am, interact with this reality. I am not my body. I am the source of who I am, which is whatever name you want to call it. Soul, energy, consciousness, vacuum, whatever. But as far as I'm concerned, what really has importance right now is how the source of who I am is interacting with the world. Not really when that tool that allowed me to interact started, or when it's going to end, or what it thinks, or what it feels, or what it senses. The first fundamental question is the nature of who I am. What is it? And how the nature of who I am is interacting with this reality, and what is the relationship? What is fundamentally the relationship that is between that which is inside my body, that is the source of who I am, and the experience that is outside? And so, I mean, those questions, for some people, sounds completely abstract or irrelevant or absurd or difficult. But I've always been fascinated by those questions, because if you can't understand the essence of who you are and the relationship that this essence has with this so-called outside world, why are you talking about anything else? How can you do that? I don't get it. I don't get how people can have an opinion about life without knowing what life is. I don't know how people can have an opinion about death without knowing what existence is. They're talking about so-called the end of something that they cannot define in the first place. And it just amazed me how those people are doing it. And what we see today, and that's what I was just sharing with you, is how the world is getting crazy around the idea of safety, of protection, of virus and everything, which before even defining what do you try to save? What is that life that you try to save? What is that death that you're so afraid of? Are you sure that death is that bad? Are you sure that you should be that afraid about dying? And that's why I called my interview Learning to Die and Dying to Learn, in order to learn how to live. Because death has been such a taboo in our society that, and this is the beauty of the universe, like the more you're going to push something away from you, the more it's going to come towards you in a very different way. So we banned the idea of death from our society. We parked our elders into retirement places. We buried our death outside of the big cities. We live in that frenetic now without remembering where we come from or where we're going, or it's just that constant rat race to who knows where. And the beauty of what's happening today is that the universe is just recording the basics of who we are. We want to be healthy. Are we? Who is profoundly dedicated to itself? Who is fasting on a regular basis? Who is eating organic food? Who even grow their own food to be sure that what comes from the ground has still the energy of where it grows, who is choosing the quality of its water, who is exposing the body to the sun every day, who is eating lactofermentation to bring probiotics and natural bacteria in the guts every day to have like a good digestive system, to be in a healthy position, who is accepting to get sick and being grateful to be sick instead of fighting against sickness as if sickness was a problem, who is honoring the bacteria which are in your body, which is, by the way, you are 80 times more bacteria than you are human cells. So that insanity war against viruses is a war against us, because we are these bacteria, we are those viruses, we are those microbes and enzymes. We just forgot how to live in harmony with them because we let those psychopaths dictate our understanding of ourselves. And if we allow that to happen, if we allow people to decide for us, if we allow people to live through us, and if we decide to live through them, we don't choose our life. So first of all, we don't define what it is. Then we don't even live it. Then we let someone else dictate our life. And then we are running away, running around like chicken, like headless chicken, as if running around will do anything good in that situation. So yeah, it's this world is looking more and more mesmerizing for me as a hermetist and as a philosopher, as an observer, as a poet. I see a lot of beauty in tragedy, and in a way, an aspect of myself is suffering with the world. The empathic aspect is suffering with the world, and the other aspect is mesmerized with the insanity, because there's a form of beauty in the unpredictability of chaos. I can see beauty in that, even if I'm in pain with it, because I don't want that to happen. I don't wish people to suffer. I would rather help them to avoid suffering. But again, like, as you said, it's free will. People choose or choose not to choose, which is a form of choice. And the only thing you can do is just to be next to them and assist them. That's what I try to do.
How can we help bring humanity, or even maybe just place in front of those that are potentially choosing, information to help them choose? Where do we begin with this kind of education? Because what you just talked about, I mean, completely, I've gone through this exact understanding, but it takes time because there's a lot of deprogramming that has to happen. We have to kind of be able to surrender completely to the unknown, be comfortable in that unknown, and then kind of work through understanding that you are not the identity that you've created based on the programming, societal, cultural, everything, right? And so you realize that really you're actually nothing. You're none of those things. So it's very difficult for the human to be that nothing and that everything at the same time. So how do we demonstrate that that is actually the most powerful place to be? And that's where you begin to look at the real truths of everything, of nature, of health, of society. All of these inversions that you just, wonderfully placed for us. How do we get from there, from where we are here to there? How do we do that?
It's all about being. It's not about doing. I'm just going to give you an example. Like recently in Australia, we've been through a big lockdown in Sydney, and we have been asked to not talk to anyone, to not talk to your neighbors. If you go shopping, to not leave your home. And I mean, all those mandatory laws, mandatory opportunities are an opportunity to actually follow the laws and let someone else decide for yourself, or an opportunity to follow your own life and choose for yourself. So I'm going to give you two examples. Like I never wear a mask in a year and a half, obviously. I actually stand proudly in big shopping centers, if I'm going to shopping centers, and I have a big smile on my face, looking at the mesmerized amazement of all those people masked. looking at you with a mixed feeling of rage and envy and jealousy, and it's very weird to witness those mixed emotion, because you can only see the eyes, and the eyes transmit so much. They hate you for what you send them back, which is their lack of courage, their lack of strength, and they admire you in a way as well, and they're angry at you because another aspect of themselves think that it's your fault if this is happening, without realizing that none of that is real, none of that exists. So yeah, you can first do yourself, be yourself, do what it is to be yourself, which is shining your light in total freedom, fearless, in full knowledge. Because of course, I did my due diligence. I researched the law, and I have all my laws on me. I have, if anyone is asking me anything, I have the article of law. I have all the empowerment of the truth to expose myself. And yeah, it changed people's perspective when they see you like that. It's inspiring them. So I was just doing my shopping, and everyone was masked. I was the only one that wasn't wearing a mask, and for whatever reason, the lady just looked at me with these eyes like, shit, what should I do? Should I say something? Should I ask him to wear a mask? And I just made a joke, and suddenly she just burst in laugh. She's just and suddenly, and the guy who was waiting behind me, who was starting to look at me weirdly, starting to laugh as well, and everyone just look at each other, be like, wow, this is what humans is. It's not about this stupid wearing mask and looking at each other like if we're crazy, but it's about connection. It's about making a joke. It's about, and suddenly the joke wasn't funny, but suddenly just daring to laugh at the situation in such a level of anxiety and stress, and just make it. And for me, it was I was happy of that moment, because I was like, wow, it doesn't require that much. It doesn't require that much. Just stand your ground in all your sovereign space. Try to enlighten their life without judging them, because those people are suffering. Those people are already in hell.
Right.
It's a hell that they build for themselves. It's a hell that they accepted. And it's a hell that only them have the key to leave, but they don't have the strength yet. And so, yeah, not judging them and being yourself, I guess, is the best thing you can do at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. That's really great. You mentioned empowering yourself with truth. How do we know what is truth?
Well, and the answer is again in the question. Knowing truth is not something that can be understood. It is something that has to be felt. And this is another big lie that we've been taught in this society, that truth can be understood. Understanding actually means standing under. It's truth can never be understood. You can eventually overstand truth. You can eventually stand over. You can eventually be truth. But that's not something that you can stand under, over, side, or whatever. It's something that you need to embody. It's something that you need to feel in yourselves. And that's why you should not blame those people, because those people are confused. They are chemically confused. They are mentally hypnotized by mainstream media, TV, programmation, trauma, pathos. They are, they gel themselves emotionally, and they block the emotions. They torture their bodies by lack of movement, by a lack of sensation, by lack of connection, by not realizing their divine mission to be a vessel between the sky and the earth, which is what humans are here for. We are only here. That's a simple answer that took me years to realize. We're only here as a tree, as a living tree, as a moving tree, to connect the earth to the sky and the sky to the earth. That's our mission. By not doing that, by walking on shoes, by not walking on the grass, by not connecting with the higher energy and the lower energy, we are depriving ourselves from that truth. We are not embodying that truth. So how do we know truth? We don't. we become truth. And this is a long process, as you said. It was a long process for me, at least. It took me years to come to that point. But for whatever reason, something is telling me that it's not going to take that long. Like, things are accelerating, and things are getting faster and faster and faster. And what took me years to realize and to embody is now getting much faster. I have another example of a neighbor who recently connected with me, who is having a stage 4 cancer, kidney cancer. And his mom connected with me synchronistically. I was leaving my home, and I never connected with her. And suddenly, a few weeks ago, it happened. And very quickly, she introduced me to her son, who's dying. And that guy actually went all over the world. He went in Germany, went in Brazil, went in America, went in India. His Indian background. And it's only after trying all that he came back home to die. Until his mom connected with me, I gave him a little bit of recipe on how to transmute himself using very simple and natural medicine. And he was desperate enough to trust me. And guess what? In only 10 days, 2 weeks, he's already feeling better that he hasn't felt in years. And he's like, all his family are just mind blown, because they went through all the doctors, all the experts of the world, using their mind. Their mind rationally told them, do this, do that, in order to fix the situation, where the solution was just to surrender to the unknown, to surrender to the universe. And his mother, which is a very spiritual woman coming from India, was born in India. When she met me, she cried, because she thanked me for remembering who she was, because she was that lady who was trusting in the universe, who was surrendering, who was praying the gods, the Indian gods, to help her in her life. And then she came in Australia. She embraced the Western culture of control and processing, and she lost herself. And it was very big, but now both of them are feeling much better. So again, when you feel truth, you don't need to understand anything at all. You just have to be embodying it, say what has to be said in the moment, because each moment is different from the previous one and different from the next one. And understand that there is no universal truth outside of the absolute moment when a truth is produced. So and that makes your life much, much easier. Much easier.
Beautiful. And you mentioned, medicine. And is it something that a healing technique that you work on?
Well, I study many, many techniques. I studied Tesla's work, high voltage, high frequency electricity. I studied spiritual healing. The mind is not more powerful than the heart. The heart is not more powerful than the body, and the body is not more powerful than the higher self or the soul.
Right.
It's just that we are living in a time where the mind is overused for a great reason, because we are getting ready for the next step of evolution, and the mind is going up to the end of its circle. So we were going from a irrational time where religion were controlling us through emotions, through the heart, into the time of rationality, where the mind is controlling everything. And we are going up to the insanity of it, where today we have people vaccinating their children for a disease that have a 99.97% chance of recovery if you are more than 65 years old. So a 0% chance of dying if you're young, but they're still going to vaccinate them because their mind believe that this is what they have to do. So they're going to kill the children with something that wasn't, to protect them against something that wouldn't have killed them in the first place. And that's the insanity of the mind. The mind can bring you the best and the worst.
Do you actually offer healing sessions of some sort?
Well, I'm offering many types of supports. I have a big experience in many fields that I practiced for many years, in psychology, in emotional healing, in physical healing, in psychological healing, in spiritual enlightenment, in many places. But yes, I'm offering support, but I'm not advertising it. It's just the way the universe wants me to help people, it's just going to bring the people naturally. And it could be a neighbor, it could be someone that saw one of my videos online, it could be someone. I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not trying to force anything. People have to go through, and that's what I love with what happened with this guy. This guy went all over the world to finally find someone, a dude that lives one street next to him, that just did one thing, which is to bring back the power into himself. And he didn't know. He one of the biggest lies of our modern time is that first, complexity is better than simplicity. Through all those ridiculous programming that, or it's too simple to be true, or if it was true, everyone would know it. As if, as if. As if. So that's one of the first big lies, that simplicity is wrong, and that which is complex is better. So, and that brings a lot of people into the limbo of the labyrinth of finding professionals and people of blah, 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 where, truth is everywhere. Truth is in your garden. Truth is in the eyes of your lover. Truth is in the sun. Truth is in the sky. Truth is in the trees. Truth is in the song of the birds. Truth is everywhere. It's just that if you decide that you will only find truth in one place, the universe will conspire to make you right. And your mind will make sure that he will see that you're right, because the mind doesn't like to be wrong. So the mind will say, oh, yeah, look, I found that specialist, and that specialist saved me. Well, that specialist have absolutely no clue about what's happening to you. It's just going to follow a protocol. And because you believe that guy, you transcended your reality to make it happen. When you study a little bit the way medicine and drugs are put on the market, and how they have to test against placebo, which is basically water and sugar, and that if you have just 0.5% more than a placebo, then you can say that drug works. What a joke. Just what a bloody joke. So saying that, yes, you can change yourself and you can transmute yourself if you believe so is not inadequate. But in the meantime, if a doctor in which you have full trust, and if you give your power away to the doctor, says that you only have 1 week to live, guess what your mind is going to do? Your mind is going to alter your alchemy and your right. chemistry in order to allow this to happen as well.
Right.
So what do? How long are we going to wait until realizing that we have the power in us? And that most of the time it is a question of patience and trust and faith, what the older religion used to call faith. Just have faith that it's going to happen, and then it happens. And then do and be and jump in life without expectations. Feeling that today is probably the last day of your life. This is something that is very, very helpful. Practicing the detachment of the outcome, having no emotional attachment, like every day, I am ready to die every day. I live every day as if it's the last day. And this is something that I'm practicing since I'm, 4, 5, 6 years old. I constantly remind every day that if I'm dying today, at least I want each minute to count. And that makes a huge difference, because if someone is asking me to living the life that they want me to live, I won't let this happen, because life is precious, time is precious. I don't want to spend 1 minute doing someone else's choice, but for that I need to educate myself, and it took me years to realize that truth is not something that was outside of myself. It was something that was inside. And yeah, I'm really happy to support people who would love to remember that process, which doesn't take that long. But what takes long is to remove all the other chains that we meticulously build or enchain ourselves through our life. All the programs, all the traumas, all the belief systems, all the decisions that we cannot alter, and that condemn ourselves to repeat over and over and over the same mistakes. Bashing our heads against the wall, hoping that one day an accident will happen and suddenly you'll be relieved of the chain that you've chosen in the first place. And it is tragic and beautiful at the same time to witness. So yes, if anyone is listening to that video and would love to have a one-on-one chat, I'm more than happy to speak to my fellows, brothers and sisters.
Nice. Beautiful. So, Roman, what are you going to be speaking about at the conference? Tell us a little bit about your presentation.
But I have many different type of presentations depending on which topic. This is it's very vague. Wisdom. I mean, that's a huge topic. I guess I would probably talk about a bit of health, a bit of truth, about a bit of natural medicine, a bit of perspective, a bit of belief system, a bit of mathematics, a bit of geometry, a bit of quantum physics, a bit of perspective, a bit of yeah, a bit of everything, because I don't see things being separated. Everything is one. So I'm actually I enjoy a lot sharing with people how you can simply change and not change, augment, transcend your perspective, and just get that bigger picture and bigger picture and bigger picture, and starting to amplify and increase that perspective that brings so much peace, because I think this is what we really need today. A much more peaceful world. Like, people are running around like crazy people. Oh, what can I do? What should I do? How should I do that? Just slow down, calm down, accept. Yes, it is disgusting. Yes, they are jabbing the kids. Yes, the New World Order. Yes, they want to chip. Yes, the CDC. Yes, Fauci. Yes, Biden. Yes. How is it helping you? How is it helping you remembering your empowerment? How is it helping you enjoying looking at the sky, looking at the clouds, looking at the trees, listening to the birds? How is it helping you to have an easier life? Yes, you can get ready. Yeah, of course. Or you were ready before and you had plenty of time to do it. But as very wise people said, you don't start the war when the war started already. You had to be ready before. You should have waken up way before. So now just surrender, pray, and empower yourself. Just empower yourself. Remember that empowering that is inside of all of us that we forgot.
Absolutely wonderful. And then your workshop, you're going to be talking about the cycle of dying. Is that right? Can you expand a little bit about what your workshops? What should we expect?
Yeah, I think I titled this workshop "Dying to Learn and Learning to Die in Order to Remember How to Live."
What are we going to be doing in this workshop?
And in this workshop, we're just going to remember what death is, really, because a lot of people are experimenting death on a regular basis. They just don't know it. Mm-hmm. And just by simply redefining what truly death is, and how it is actually a part of your life since you were born, and how you are actually much more friend with death that you actually know it, I believe, brings a bit of peace in people's hearts. Because if you think that death is the end of something, I mean, you can focus on what death is going to end, or you can focus on what a death is going to open and going to create. And for that, you need to you need to question yourself and dive into your own sense of truth, of what this is all really about. And unless this is happening, you're going to be in pain. You're going to be in pain because you're going to be played by someone else's definition of life, of existence, of death, of what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you should be, what you shouldn't be. So I think this is something that will take a lot of pleasure to share. My perspective on all those questions. So dying to learn and learning to die in order to remember how to live, I think is necessary today.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Well, we can't wait, Roman. What a wonderful collection of information that we're going to be receiving from you. Where can people find you? Where can they connect with you? Do you have a website or books?
So I have a website. I haven't written a book because I could have written 100 books, and I still haven't decided which one I will write. So I decided to write no books. I also believe that the truth that I can share in the moment has more value than what I could try to segment into a book. We'll see. We'll see if one day I write a book. But no, my website is Sacred Arithmetic, sacredarithmetic.com. And if people want to interact with me, I have a Telegram channel. It's a Roman Light. I have a Roman Light group chat and Roman Light in one word. So Telegram Roman Light or Roman Light group chat. Facebook Roman Light, but Facebook is probably going to close my account very soon. They banned me 9 months out of 10, so I think
Oh my
they're
gosh.
fed up with me now. Like,
Yeah.
they tried to shut me down many times and make me shut up, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to stop. So they're going to have to close my account.
Okay, very good. Wonderful. Well, it was such a pleasure to speak with you here today, and I want to thank you for that and for joining us. And for everyone that tuned in here today, thank you so much for joining us. If you feel that you have gained some wisdom or some value from this conversation, please do share and like, and we will see you at WisdomCon, September 24th to the 26th. See you soon. Thank you.